It ought to humble us to realize that you and I don't have to be in the center of everything that God has chosen to do. And I think about this, the reason I'm even talking about this, is I think about the fact that most of us in this room, we are Gentiles. So we might not have a great interest in what God plans to do with ethnic Israelites. We might not even make sense of it. Why would he do it? Why does it matter? We're one new man in Jesus Christ, and we are. So what about all these little things that he says he's going to do with Israel and the kingdom and the land and all the rest? Why would that matter? Well, listen, dear Gentile brother and sister, I'm one of you. We're not at the center of everything God has chosen to do, which is exactly what he warns us about in Romans chapter 11. He warns Gentile believers against arrogance. Romans 11 verse 17, but if some of the branches were broken off, and you being a wild olive were grafted in among them, and became a partaker with them of the rich root of the olive tree, do not be arrogant toward the branches. But if you are arrogant, remember that it is not you who supports the root, but the root supports you. You will say then, branches were broken off so that I might be grafted in. Quite right. They were broken off for their unbelief, but you stand by your faith. Do not be conceited, but fear. For if God did not spare the natural branches, neither will he spare you. Behold then the kindness and severity of God. To those who fell, severity, but to you God's kindness, if you continue in his kindness. Otherwise you also will be cut off. They also, if they do not continue in their unbelief, will be grafted in. For God is able to graft them in again. For if you were cut off from what is by nature a wild olive tree, and were grafted contrary to nature into a cultivated olive tree, how much more shall these, who are the natural branches, be grafted into their own olive tree? For I do not want you, brethren, to be uninformed of this mystery, lest you be wise in your own estimation, that a partial hardening has happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles has come in. And thus all Israel will be saved. Just as it is written, the deliverer will come from Zion. He will remove ungodliness from Jacob. And this is my covenant with them when I take away their sins. From the standpoint of the gospel, they are enemies for your sake. But from the standpoint of God's choice, they are beloved for the sake of the fathers. For the gifts and the calling of God are irrevocable. What God says he will do, he will do. And we don't have to be in the center of everything God says he will do. And the church would say, amen.